Hello everybody and welcome to yet another edition of Hops at Home, our virtual happy hour in which we try to make contact with some of the brewers out in the Chicagoland area. I am Phil Clark, the landlord of the Britain Yankee Pub Studios, and usually we have a whole bunch of people down here in the studios, but unfortunately today it's just me. And that's how it's been for quite some time because of this darn sequestering. Anyway, joining me in these videos has been Jay Rosicki from Malted Tales and of Milk Money Brewing, but unfortunately today he is busy in his part-time job fixing bikes, which is a good thing because it means everybody's going out getting exercise. And our first guest today, because I am going to be drinking his beer, is Mr. Ken Mullen. And Ken, I've got your wonderful, if I can, there we go, get the sound effect on there. Their wonderful Floyd Morningside, which is your sour old ale.
Nice.
And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that's a nice middle of the day beer for you there, Phil, at 11%.
Yeah, I'd like to say we are recording this at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's happy hour somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Sorry.
That's just it's a sour. It's an old ale that soured at the same time that it was fermenting, so it was just a really slow fermentation that crept along, and it developed this kind of wine-like character. So I transferred it to another tank and put it on toasted oak spirals, just to kind of give it more of that wine character. And I love that beer. It's really come out nice.
Yep. I wish you guys could taste it with me. Well, you could actually, Ken, because you got some there. But
I could go get them.
What are you drinking?
I grabbed Mastodon IPA, which I just brewed a couple weeks ago, and we're going to release it probably on Friday. So I pulled this out of the fermenter. I just dumped the hops out of the fermenter and I'm chilling it. I've been chilling it since yesterday. So I'll transfer it tomorrow and it'll be on tap Friday. Super fresh batch. It's 6.3%. I used Cascade and Centennial hops, and the Cascade hops were cryo hops. So I kept the same volume of hop in the dry hop rather than dropping it by half. So it's just super freaking resinous and I don't know. It's kind of, I hate to say dank, but it is.
That's just the way I like an IPA. Well, without any further ado, having looked at all your beers, we now need to introduce our very special guest for today. Sitting to my left, I guess, as you look at the pictures, is Mr. Jamie Albert from Will County, together with his friend, the Beard. Hello, Jamie. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
We're good. So tell us what's been going on.
Well, like most of the other brewers in the state and across the country, that matter, just trying to hang in there. It's been a lot of changes for all of us, for sure. With this to go and curbside stuff, it's great to still have that. But just trying to cope with all the changes that the world's throwing at us right now.
And I understand that this afternoon, or today anyway, you went on a grain run. Is that right?
Yeah. I had to go up to Muntins and out to Country Malt and pick up the grain for our next few batches here. So I was scared this morning when all the snow was on the ground, knowing that I had a bunch of traveling to do today. I heard about this 54-car pileup on the Kennedy and it's just crazy stuff, man.
Where's Muntin's warehouse at?
They just moved. They were they weren't far from the old Country Malt site before they moved on to Mullen.
South Holland area.
Yeah, South Holland or Calumet City or something like that. But now they're out in Bensonville. So I had to go up to Bensonville today.
That's off Elmhurst Brewing Way.
Yeah. When things go back to normal, it'll be nice for pickup, so I can stop at Church Street and more and stop all the way back home.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So what'd you get? What are you brewing?
We got all our base malt from Muntins. So we got a bunch of 2 row, some Maris Otter, and some Pilsner malt, a little bit of Munich. Then we get our specialty malts from Country Malt. We got some chocolate and a little caramel 120, and got a Baltic Porter on the horizon here pretty soon. So
Doing full batch?
yeah, which for us is only 5 barrel, but you know, for our stouts and porters, that seems to be plenty. We do double batches now of anything that sells regularly. Our, you know, Pilsners, our IPAs, our wheat beers, you know, just to keep it enough on hand. Makes me feel like we need a system like yours back there, Ken, instead of our little 5 barrel.
That's 7.
Oh, is that 7? Oh, I thought it was a 10.
No, it's 7 barrels.
Okay.
I was interested to hear that you were making a Baltic Porter, and I heard a couple of other classic styles in there. And what the viewers don't know is that just ahead of this coronavirus lockdown, we were actually going to come down there and do a audio podcast with you to find out a little bit more about Will County. We never got there, so this is about as good as it's going to get, but we will come down and have a further in-depth talk with you. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what your style of brewing is.
Well, yeah, that's right. I almost forgot about that. It was just a month or so ago when we were trying to do this initially. And oddly enough, well, to tell you a little bit about the background, it's around that time was our 2-year anniversary. So we've been around for 2 years, and we have a 5-barrel brew system and 8 5-barrel fermenters. So we're able to brew a good variety of beer at a smaller scale. Seeing some of the issues now being the beers that we want to ramp up, it's tying up more and more tanks of ours too. So it's part of the growth for us is going to be some larger equipment, may get into a little bit more contract brewing somewhere else off-site. Probably our mainstays are our IPA, which is Rocket Queen. It's a double dry hopped IPA. It's what I'm drinking right now. And it's more of a West Coast. It's not hazy. We do use a good amount of flaked oats in it. And it's Amarillo, Citra, and Mosaic. So it could easily be hazed up a little bit, but the flavors are there, but it's more of a West Coast style double dry hop. One of our biggest sellers right now would be Bam Bam. It's our Fruity Pebbles wheat ale is what we did. And the way that this beer came about is with the Joliet Brewers Guild, one of the competitions that we did a long time ago when we were still home brewing. And they did a cereal beer competition where they threw a bunch of cereal names in a hat. The brewer had to pick out a cereal from the hat and brew a beer with it. So my partner James actually got Fruity Pebbles and came up with this beer. And it's just a wheat ale that he put on a bunch of Fruity Pebbles cereal. And it turned out to be still to this day, one of our best sellers.
So Fruity Pebbles has become one of your top beers, huh?
Yeah. It's
yeah. How do you use the cereal in there? I mean, does it go in the mash or what? We
used to make it with the cereal. It just got ridiculous after a while, and I noticed that a lot of all those artificial colors turned the beer a real funky color. The flavors were still there, and so we did some playing around with it. Oddly enough, when you have the cereal by itself, one of the big flavors that you get is lemon. So what we do with that is we use coriander seed and crushed coriander seed and add that to the 15-minute addition in the boil. And then we use some natural fruit extracts in secondary and come up with the same exact flavor. But we got on the hazy train too. We have a hazy IPA out there. We have a series of them actually. Our Hey Zebra series and I think we're up to 5 now. We've done 5 different varieties, just with different hop combinations, and tweaking the recipe a little bit from batch to batch. Just our experimental series. Our Hazy 4, I believe, ended up becoming F.U.S., which is one of our hazy IPAs. It's called F.U.S. Quick story behind that beer. When we were first in inception, we were going through a company called F.U.S. Stainless out of Canton, Ohio, to make our equipment. We had a 5-barrel system set up through them. Actually, it was a 7-barrel, I think, set up through them. Went and visited the facility, put half down. 6 months came, 9 months came, 12 months came. They said they're closing their doors and you're going out of business. Ken, I think I told you this story before, but they, so we lost over $30,000 before we even opened our doors. So this F.U.S. beer, this hazy IPA that we call F.U.S. is kind of a homage to them. F.U.S.S. The last 2 SS
Nice.
is stainless, so you can figure out the rest.
You're down in Shorewood, correct?
Right, we're in Shorewood, just south of Plainfield, west of Joliet.
Okay. So is there a specific style that people like down there? I found that as you go further south, and Ken, I think we found that when we went to Fairbury and Emancipation, that it tended to be more of the classic American Pilsners. Did you have an uphill battle to get people to select your beers?
Yeah, it's. I think Interstate 80 is probably that line. It seems like anything south of 80, there's a lot of Busch Light drank south of 80. And we have a lot of that around us here too in Shorewood, but the community has embraced us really well, and I think we've done a good job of turning the lager drinker, a light beer drinker, into trying all these new ales that they've never been introduced to before. We've got a great community following here, and they like to try different things too. So yeah, we have a light lager that we do. It's called BRD. It's a low ABV light lager. Got a couple in the tank right now, but we also have a Russian Imperial Stout that's in there that's in the tanks right now too, that we're going to end up putting into some Blum Brothers bourbon barrels.
Well,
Wow,
one of
cool.
the things that we like to do on the show just before we end, and again, we have to be cognizant of the time here. We're trying to do 15 to 20 minute videos, but there's one thing that we like to do, and that is, Jamie Albert, will you show us your fridge, please?
Oh, yeah. Let me see if I can get a good angle at it here. There we go.
It's nice. It's conveniently right next to you.
Oh, right behind me. Yeah. So that's it. I can pull some stuff out here. We've got Chopper 2 Hopper here is this is actually a beer that we had made for opening day, for White Sox opening day. We had a big tailgate party planned out there. We were going to give away cans of this out there, and while we were tailgating. Obviously, times have changed, but it's a great pale ale, just a real simple pale ale. We've got some more Rocket Queen in here. This is that F.U.S. can that I was talking about. This is our hazy IPA.
Nice.
And actually, that story I was telling you about F.U.S. Stainless, we use this on the label here too. That was actually their logo, and we just replaced it with F.U.S. So that's a little more tribute to them there too. So
I love it. There's no fuss at all. It's just all in the can.
It says on the label too, ask us what the F.U.S. is all about, and we're glad to tell the story. Got a couple other local guys. One of my favorite beers from Workforce here, Double Bat Polaroid. I always make sure I have some.
Red.
Yeah, I love that beer. I got this Hailstorm. I haven't had it yet. I just finished the Hailstorm Lumberjack ones. Those were pretty good. Excited to try this one.
Somebody else was drinking that Lumberjack one online, and looks like I missed out on a good beer.
Yeah, I can't remember which was which, but there was a maple and coffee, a coffee and vanilla, and a vanilla and maple, and there was all kinds of combinations there. But and those were really good beers. I love what Brandon's doing, and Brando at Workforce too. They're both doing probably two of my favorite brewers, besides Ken McMullen, of course.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice one. So, thanks a lot, Jamie, for letting us come down and see you in your brewery office.
Yeah, next time we'll make it in person, hopefully.
Bloody right,
Yeah,
mate.
right.
Yeah, and Ken, I'm so glad to see you in your office.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, I wish I had an office like that. Before we go, Jamie, just can you let us know what the process is for people to get your beers? Now, in this weird situation we're in.
Right. No, we have online ordering that we just started a couple weeks ago. We obviously have phone-in orders, and we do curbside pickup. You're still allowed in. We have a capacity minimum of, or a maximum of 2 people in at any given time. So that's still an option as well. And we have growlers and crowlers, and what little package beer we have left. I think we have Chopper 2 hoppers still. We're going to do some more canning this week, this next coming week, actually. So hopefully we'll have some stuff available. But yeah, it's shop.willcountybrew.com is the online store. And you can phone in order to, it's 815-582-4157.
And it's very interesting to see how a lot of the breweries have responded by setting up these online shops quite quickly. So at least somebody is benefiting from, this poor situation, and that's those guys who do the online shops.
Right. Yeah. It's. I was having this conversation earlier with my partner, and whatever this brings to all of us, it's great to see that we're all kind of adjusting and adapting to all of these rules and changes that are brought to our daily lives now. And it's good to see that there's still people able to remain open and to stay in business, if not just for us, but for our staff too. I mean, we're fortunate that we have a small staff and we can keep them employed, which was one of my biggest stresses through all of that. But,
I think you can't minimize the impact on the community too, and providing this service for the community. I mean, there's not a lot of reasons to go out right now. Groceries and beer are good ones. And I know a buddy of mine, John Lawler, he cruises around the breweries to pick up, it gives him a reason to go out in his car, and he picks up beer. And most of the time it's curbside pickup, so there's no contact and it's safe. So thanks for keeping it going and giving people something to do.
What hours are you doing the pickup or the curbside or whatever?
During the week, we're 3 to 8 during the week, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we're 12 to 6.
All right, that sounds like I should go down there on the weekend because I can't be out after 3 o'clock usually. I'm older. Hey, thanks very much indeed for coming on the show, Jamie. We'll catch you for a full interview. And actually, we were going to come in just before your 2nd anniversary, which you mentioned. So maybe we should come in and have the 2nd anniversary later, right? Have it all again.
I did save a couple bottles of our anniversary 2 beer, so there we go. Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
I look forward to that.
Sounds real good. And keep going with that zebra stripe beard you got there.
Will do. Thanks, guys.
It'll change into this.
Yeah.
I used to have that.
Well, from Floyd and myself, it's cheers.
Cheers from Ken and Mastodon.
You've got to be careful how you say that.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Cheers, Jamie. Take care. All the best.
Cheers, James.